We are live. We are live. We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Mets conversation that me and Tom have every so often. I am Barry Grant Jr. This is my good friend Tom Greer. How you doing, sir? I'm not gonna say Happy New Year to you because it's past that. We are gonna say Happy Lindor Anniversary Day. What's up,
Absolutely,
man?
I like that one better.
Yeah.
Things are good still. I don't know, man. Baseball needs to figure it out. Like this off season is like the worst.
This has to
Baseball off season
be
is the worst.
this has to be probably the worst off season that I've seen
It's
in
like this
quite some
every year.
time. It's pretty bad, man. It's pretty bad.
You know it's bad because the thing in the sports world that's getting the most news is about John Harbaugh getting fired from the Ravens. Like we're like kind of already talking about football off season,
Right.
and baseball's been going on since December or
Yeah,
since
yeah.
October, the end of October.
John Harbaugh news. You have what's his name? Trey Young just getting traded to the Wizards.
Yeah,
Who the hell requests the trade to the Washington Wizards is the funniest thing to me. Like somebody you wanted to go there. All right. All
yeah.
right.
What the two places he requested were the Wizards and the Nets.
Yeah,
He just wants to be in basketball purgatory.
because he knows that his value is not that high around the league. That there were not a lot of teams that were clamoring for Trey Young. You know what I'm saying? So he was just like, all right, let me go to this dumpster fire place, or let me go to this burning dumpster fire over here. So
Uh,
whatever.
yeah, he'll just go. He'll be in obscurity for a little while, and then
Yeah.
he'll probably get some deal. Is he a free agent at the end of the year?
It's a good question. I think he might have 1 year left. He might have 1 year left.
He'll stew in Washington or
Yeah. I mean, look, they're putting together some stuff over there, but I don't know. I
when
can't.
can you believe in the Wizards?
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So listen, we're gonna talk about some rumors that are going on. Obviously we have the Cody Bellinger rumors still out there. We have the Kyle Tucker stuff still out there. We have news about Framer Valdez or Ranger Suarez, one of these two possibly landing on the Mets. We're also going to talk about if the roster stays as presently constructed right now, who do we feel can be able to step up, can have a bounce back year, people who can be able to get called up and be a contributor to the roster. So there's some stuff that we definitely going to speak about today. So let's just go ahead and kick it off, Tom, with the news, the slow news that's circulating around Kyle Tucker and Cody Bellinger. So, they're saying that the Mets are very aggressive in their pursuit of Kyle Tucker. That's what we heard. I don't know how much we can be able to believe that, but listen, we just have to kind of take it with a grain of salt at this point. I had posted on X a couple of days ago that the Mets have shown interest in showing interest. You know what I mean? So, that's kind of where they are with things. But, what is your take in regards to the Mets and Kyle Tucker? I know that John Heyman said that it's a very iffy, it's a funny fit. He said if the Mets sign Kyle Tucker, it would be a funny pairing, just because of maybe what he wants, or Mets having to really go above and beyond what they might be comfortable with giving somebody to be able to get a Kyle Tucker. So what are your thoughts on that particular scenario and how that's going?
I don't it would definitely, I mean, the only reason that I would consider it a funny fit is just because if he's willing, if David Stearns is willing to, if aggressive means that they're maybe willing to get a little uncomfortable with it,
Yeah.
that would maybe where I find it iffy, just because I haven't seen outside of Soto, I haven't seen David Stearns give out lengthy contracts, so that would be the only why it would be iffy. But other than that, like, I don't see why it isn't a match made in heaven. I understand that Kyle Tucker doesn't have like positional flexibility like Bellinger does.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty confident that Kyle Tucker will be a better consistent just baseball player in the field and in the lineup than Cody Bellinger would. And the Mets need bats. The Mets need an impact bat, and the Mets, like, he's not a liability in the outfield. Like, is he a Gold Glove outfielder? No, but he's not a liability. He'll still make plays. He still made All-Star games. Like, I'm not really all that worried about that. To me, feels like a perfect fit. You get everything that everybody wanted Pete to be. You can kind of get with Kyle Tucker, and he's younger. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like Kyle Tucker is a better all-around baseball player than Pete Alonso is.
Yeah, he's not the masher that Pete is, but he's a guy that's he's gonna always be in the 900 plus OPS just because he can get on base, he can hit for average a little bit, he has some power. So he's always gonna be a guy that is a plus bat in your
Yeah,
lineup. And you know, pairing him with a Juan Soto and a Lindor, it's just gonna make all three of them a lot better.
yeah,
And if you have a Kyle Tucker, give me that trio against any other trio in baseball, and I can tell you that we probably have the best, right?
oh yeah,
So
no, I agree.
yeah, so it's one of those things where if they do that, there's more positives than there are negatives, right?
Yeah,
And if the contract situation is more favorable in regards to not being a double digit length contract commitment, if it's more like 5 years or 6 years, then I think the Mets do have to dive all in
yeah.
because hey, listen, give them high AV, give them opt outs. Like we were just talking, about this off mic, and we're just like, maybe giving him an opt out after every year would be good because guess what? If he does feel that he had a great year, then he can be able to opt out of that deal and head to free agency again. And then you, as the player or you as the organization, you get out of that contract and then you can be able to renegotiate with him, or you can go ahead and go find a different player or have some of your young players come up where it was kind of just like a bridge season. So there's a lot of different ways that the Mets can go, but I do think that pursuing a Kyle Tucker and signing him would be beneficial for them this year more than anything else.
Oh, dude, I totally agree. I think like even at the start of this offseason, I was just like, go get me Kyle Tucker. Like
Yeah.
even before even saying Pete was coming back, even all of these things considered, I was like, just go get me Kyle Tucker. That bat
Yeah.
would be awesome in this lineup, and you have no reason not to at this point. Like they haven't spent any of the money.
Right.
That's what we kept hearing, that they're gonna trade, not bring back Diaz, which obviously we've talked at nauseum. They probably messed up on that one. They're not bringing back Pete. They trade Nimmo. Like you have all this money that's now unspent. You got to spend it somewhere, and it's really like as far as impact bats and impact players, it's Kyle Tucker and Cody Bellinger. And
Yeah.
I think we mentioned it last time we did a live. We're not that far off in years from when Cody Bellinger got basically let go from the Dodgers and had to resurrect his career in Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would rather Kyle Tucker because to me, sure, Bellinger could play first base, but he played at a little league stadium last year, and I'm afraid that that bat might not necessarily fully translate to Citi Field. And oh, by the way, it's great that he can play center field and first base. That's freaking awesome. But I would rather a more consistent bat in Kyle Tucker. And it makes me happy that this says the Mets are aggressive. Like how many players in this offseason, like we haven't heard anything out of the Mets really, other than that they weren't involved in any of the Japanese guys. How many guys have we heard that they're aggressive in on somebody? You know what I mean? Like,
I think he might be the first, to be honest
yeah,
with you.
exactly. So like hearing that makes me think, okay, yeah, I can totally see it. If there's anybody that you can get uncomfortable with, it's Kyle Tucker. You know what I mean? The dude's a beast.
Yeah, the thing is with me, I am more of a Cody Bellinger fan just because I do agree with you in regards to, hey, listen, you know, he was non-tenured by the Dodgers all those years back before they decided to go scorch earth and really do the damage, right? But he was the start of kind of that rebuilding of the Dodgers. But
Yeah,
the one thing that I do like is that he's found success in big markets.
true.
He won an MVP in LA, played very well in Chicago with the Cubs, had a very good first year with the Yankees. This is a guy he's not afraid of the big stage.
No.
And that's a guy that you want. We don't know if Kyle Tucker can be able to handle the big stage. We know that he can handle the big stage in regards to the World Series and be a contributing player there, but he played in a small market. And then he went to Chicago for the 1 year and did not have a good year. Now, granted, he was hurt 3.5 weeks of the season. You kind of factor in some stats for 3.5 weeks. His overall stuff looks better, but those are things that you really have to consider. He's very comfortable going to Toronto. I heard that there was some rumors that he's very comfortable going to LA just because they have so many other guys there that he can just be a guy. Like
Yeah,
he just wants to be a Jag. He doesn't want to be a superstar and be looked at as, oh my God, you're saving this team. Like we need you to be the guy, because in New York, that's always a thing that you sign a big contract. Now they're going to be like, well, you need to produce based on what your contract says,
yeah.
and that might not be the pressure that he's looking for. So that's a thing in itself. You know what I'm saying? Plus,
Yeah.
I like the versatility that a Bellinger gives you.
No, I agree. I think it's just that like I agree that Houston is technically a small market. I guess maybe I'm reaching, and I will say maybe I'm reaching, but he did play for the Astros, and the Astros have been like the boogeyman of Major League Baseball, and
Fair.
all they've been dealing with is constant criticism year after year ever since the whole steal and sign scandal. He wasn't there for that, but I mean, he was at like he was playing in Houston during like a toxic time. So maybe I don't know, maybe dealing with that maybe makes him a little bit more thick-skinned for a big market like New York. But that's the thing. But I don't think if you sign Kyle Tucker at this point, you're not. He's if a 10-year deal was there, and I saw SNY tweeted that the Blue Jays might be willing to go longer in years on an offer. If a 10-year deal was there, he would have taken it by now. So
Yes.
if he's getting a 5 or 6 year deal with Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor here, I don't think Kyle Tucker's coming here and he's going to be the savior. I think
Yeah.
he's coming here to be an extra piece. Like the
Yeah,
savior,
I agree.
the savior's Juan Soto. So if you're
Right.
worried about like, and with the way that the Mets have just shaken out, where everybody seems to want to put all of the blame on Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor, um, they're basically Kyle Tucker's bulletproof vest. You know what I mean?
Very
Like
fair. Yep.
they signed Kyle Tucker. Mets fans are all rejoicing. They're all saying like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. We spent
But
money
he's
on
not
opening."
looked at as that you need to be the guy, because we
Yeah,
already have the guy and the
the
face
guy's
of
going to
the
be here for
franchise.
15 years. The guy
Yeah.
is going to be here for 15 years. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And even if he's not the guy for us yet, he'll get it once Lindor ages out.
Yeah.
So I think that it's like the perfect, especially if they're gonna if they can work in deals with opt outs. It's the perfect situation, at least for the Mets. I don't know how perfect it is for Kyle Tucker because he's not going to get that 10-year deal he wants, but it's why the baseball offseason is so frustrating,
Yeah.
but it works in the Mets' favor because it ends up that these teams don't want to spend money all up front. They don't want to do it all in the beginning. They want to wait it out and see how the market plays out, which is why it's been frustrating. It sucks. All like we've said before, all we know is the Mets are losing guys left and right.
Yeah.
But it's just because David Stearns is sitting back, waiting in the weeds, and just letting the market dictate where all of this money is going to go and who actually deserves these contracts. And now we've reached a point. I've been seeing more information and more rumors about Kyle Tucker now than I have since the offseason started. So it makes me think, okay, maybe we're getting close to something. How close, I don't know. But maybe it feels like it might be sooner rather than later.
Yeah, because I think the teams that are in on him are the Mets, Dodgers, and I think the Blue Jays. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, the Yankees are
Yankees are going
figuring
to
out if
be
they
out of
want
it.
to
I mean,
take Bellinger.
they've said that they've given 2 offers to Bellinger, so we'll see exactly what. And if Bellinger wanted that deal, he would have signed it already. So, that's the thing. We got a comment here from Explosive Diarrhea. Welcome back, sir. Right now, Andy Martino is the Mets' biggest signing in the offseason.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what that means. Like
we are definitely going to get to that later. Like I have a lot to say about this particular thing, and it's not good.
No.
So yeah, listen, whoever they sign, if it's one of the other guy, I think that the Mets will be fine with either guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because both guys bring a certain dynamic to the team. Both guys have potential to be 30, 100 guys in the lineup. Both guys are just good players in their own right. And we would be lucky to have them as Met fans to be able to pair those guys up with the guys that we already have. So hopefully Hopefully we get some news on Bellinger more than Tucker, but if we get Tucker as well, or Tucker or whatever it is, I'll be fine. But I am every time I hear Cody Bellinger's name, I say, hey, what's going on? Hey, did he sign yet? I that's my guy.
Who do you
I want Cody.
if you're thinking of, I mean, I know we're spring trade hasn't even started yet, but so to even think about the Mets lineup, like going against a team like the Dodgers, but like when you picture a Mets lineup going against the Dodgers, if that's where we end up, who do you feel more confident in the lineup in us beating the Dodgers? Like, who do you envision being there that'll put us over the edge closer, like Bellinger or Kyle Tucker? I feel like it's Kyle Tucker. I think I rely on Kyle Tucker.
I say Kyle Tucker just because he's been there before.
Yeah.
And when you got a guy like Kyle Tucker who's won a World Series, you have Juan Soto who's won a World Series, you have Francisco Lindor who's been in the World Series.
Cody Bellinger didn't win one with the Dodgers?
Huh?
Cody Bellinger didn't win one with the Dodgers?
No, I think he was gone. I think he left in 2019, I believe.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Yeah.
He left
right before they won the World Series, I believe.
I like Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
And hopefully like Pete Alonso.
Right. so it's like, those things, you have those guys that have that experience that plays. You know what I mean? That plays
more than guys that have won.
Right. So
Juan Soto, Trevor Simeon, and Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, you think about those guys, right? Except Trevor Simeon is another guy, right? So you put those four guys, if you add a Kyle Tucker, those are guys that have been in that spot. Yep. So that spot is not bigger than them. They've been there and they've succeeded. You know what I'm saying? So this is why it's like, I would favor Kyle Tucker in that situation if we were to, kind of, have a good season in advance. Let's go to the next breed of news, man. In regards to the pitching, they said that who's the one that I think was Buster Only that tweeted out saying that it's pretty much an imminent thing that the Mets are going to land either Framber Valdez or Ranger Suarez. Now, if you had your pick, I know that you're a savant guy, and who do you actually want more? Because Ranger Suarez, he doesn't throw hard. We know that his velocity has gone down each of the last 4 years. He's barely touching 91 miles per hour on the fastball, which is concerning, but he is a pitcher. This is a guy that understands the strike zone, is very crafty around the strike zone, and his savant pages look great. Like, you see his numbers, they jump off the page. However, he's a 5-and-out guy.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is that for a team that had no length last year, you're going to sign a guy that's just going to add to that problem. And that's the biggest issue for me. Like, if you're going to solve a problem that we had last year in regards to pitchers being able to go 6 and 7 innings, then Framber Valdez is your only option if you're trying to get somebody who can be able to go farther. Like, to be honest with you, Tom, I don't even know why this is still a thing.
True.
Framber Valdez should already be a Met. Like, you mean, because there's no downside to signing a Framber Valdez. There just isn't. Like, he's a guy that can be able to be your opening day starter, right? And he can be your game 1 starter in the postseason. Yeah. This is a guy that has experience. He's succeeded in the postseason. He's dominated in World Series games. Like, I've seen this. So why wouldn't you want to get a guy like that? I don't care if he's 32 years old. I don't give a shit. Like, it's a guy that we know he's an old school type of pitcher. He's a bulldog, and he's going to figure out how to get out of innings. And that's the type of guys you want. That's the type of guys that you actually want in your rotation, teaching your young pitchers how to be able to figure things out. Instead of throwing your arm out for 4 innings, you know how to be able to have something in the reserve to be able to keep going for 7. Yeah. So that's what I want. You know what I mean? So,
agreed.
I am more of a Framber Valdez guy. That's who I want. I think Ranger Suarez is great, but my concerns is that the fact that the Phillies want nothing to do with him, that scares me. You know what I'm saying? Because he's had so much success with the Phillies, and they're like, yeah, we don't want him. That's just like, okay, we're gonna take it and from the same team in the same division, and they don't want him. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm totally, and it's like, when I if let's say we didn't have Sean Mania, Kodai Senga got traded, and we
Yeah.
needed like a 2 or 3 starter, then I'm on board with the
Yes.
Suarez move just because I'll get a guy that can just throw balls around the strike zone, get some good outs, and if it's got to kind of sort of be a bullpen game, it'll be a bullpen game.
Plus, he's a ground ball pitcher. We have very good, up the middle defense. It's
Yeah,
fine. You know what I mean?
exactly. But when
Yeah.
we're talking about a guy that's going to be a workhorse at the front of the rotation, I would rather Framber Valdez because again, another guy that knows winning, another guy that gives you length.
Mm.
My only issue is we heard so much about how toxic the Mets clubhouse was, and evidently, believe it if you want, don't believe it if you want, doesn't matter to me. I'm just saying it was a story. And if that is an issue that you have, Framber Valdez is the guy that just like ripped a fastball at one of his catchers just because he was a little bit disgruntled. So that might be the only thing that would make me a little nervous, but I would take the risk anyway because it doesn't look like Framber is going to get that long-term deal he's looking for either.
No.
I think I wouldn't be shocked if the Mets are trying to figure out the pitching situation out of the trade market because I like Framber. I just don't know if Framber Valdez or Ranger Suarez is the guy that's going to put your rotation over the top. Like they might be trying to just like, okay, these two guys are still here. Nobody seems to be signing them just yet. Let me see if I can work a trade. And if that doesn't work out, they'll pull the ripcord and go sign Framber Valdez. Because again, if that deal that Framber wants was out there, he'd be signing it already, and he'd be getting ready to have a introductory press conference. He hasn't. He's still there. So I think the Mets are ultimately going to fall back on Framber Valdez.
Yeah, I think the two teams that are hot for Framber Valdez is the Orioles and us, right? Like those are the two teams that have been linked. Orioles are pretty desperate for starting pitching.
So wait.
So are we, but I think they're even way more desperate than we are. You know what I mean? And they have money that they want to spend, is burning a hole to their pocket. So we'll see what happens if they get desperate enough to say, hey, the Mets are really serious on Framer. We might have to go an extra year to sign him and take him away from the Mets. But yeah, you had mentioned in regards to the Mets are focused on trying to enter the trade market to see what they can be able to get. Now they didn't get Cabrera from the Marlins. He ends up going to the Cubs. Who else is a target out there? Obviously, we've talked ad nauseum about Tarek Skubal. That's not happening.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Like, what other pitcher have you heard any rumblings around? I think I've heard Mackenzie Gore, but I haven't really heard much. You know what I mean? Like, it's been really, really radio silent.
Yeah, I wonder. Like, I didn't think as far as like Cabrera, Alcantara, even Mackenzie Gore. I don't know if the Mets will be able to pull off those trades because you're probably going to have to pay a premium trading within the division. Like that team is going to be trading him to you, knowing you're going to see him a lot. So I don't know how willing the Marlins or the Nationals are at helping the Mets. So you might have to pay a premium. I keep circling back to the Peralta stuff with the Brewers simply because that's all we keep. That's the name that we keep hearing at the Mets. I think the Yankees were tied to him. David Stearns has a relationship, obviously, with the Brewers. So I think I'm hoping for that more than Framber or Suarez. I'm hoping that happens because you can go get Peralta, you trade some of those prospects away, and then next year, I mean, if the Tigers are out of it, they might trade Skubal at the deadline. If the Tigers are in it, okay, at the end of next year, you just throw a whole bunch of money at Tariq Skubal, and we didn't have to give up anything. We just had to give up a few prospects for Peralta. So
right.
I think I would rather that than I would rather them trade for Peralta, bring in Kyle Tucker, and I guess see if you can get somebody defensively to play first base. I think that would be great, but
maybe a Paul Goldschmidt at that point.
Man, that does not sound good to me. I think I would.
He's still very athletic, man. Like he's old, but
enough with the ex-Yankees. Enough with the ex-Yankees, and he's a million years old. I would rather see if you can snake Christian Walker from the Astros or something.
I don't mind that. See, the thing is, like, if you can
Yandy's still there. Yeah, like the
Yandy Diaz.
Rays are open for business. Go get him. So
my thing is, this is my thing. If they're gonna make a deal, make it a package deal, no matter who it is, right? So if you're gonna get Framber Valdez, if you're gonna get Freddie Peralta, go get Trevor McGill as well, right?
Yes, yes.
Package those two up and just get both of them, right? If you're gonna go get if you're gonna go get a Yandy Diaz, go get a pitcher. Go see if you can be able to find a reliever or a starting pitcher that they might be willing to give up. Like that. That's what I want. I want to see a package deal so you can be able to kind of quell all of your problems in one particular fell swoop and get that done.
Could you imagine if they don't get? Imagine they do the package deal with Peralta, but the other player coming back isn't Trevor McGill. It's the Brewers dumping Reese Hoskins' salary. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine Reese Hoskins coming to play in Queens? That would be the craziest thing ever.
And we hate Reese Scott.
Can't stand him. Hate him with a burning passion. I can't stand that.
We hate Reese Hoskins.
That's what I'm saying. It would be so funny. It would be so.
But at this point, come on down.
Yeah, I mean, he could kind of play first base, and you could interchange him and Polanco at DH.
Yeah, I mean, he would be an ideal DH, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I would rather Polanco DH a little more than him. But I I don't know. I thought I saw somebody have that recently, and I don't remember who it was. So I didn't just think of that myself. I definitely heard that somewhere. But that's what I want. I want Peralta and Tucker. That's my. And if we can't, just go get Framberg. I think that my biggest issue with thinking of all of this is like, I should not be thinking about Mets Dodgers. I shouldn't think of that. I shouldn't think of that until we hit October. Until we hit October, and the Mets are making the playoffs.
I think we're still caught up in that we're neck and neck. We can spend like the Dodgers, but we're not the Dodgers. Like I remember I made the comparison a couple of shows back. We are DC compared to their Marvel, and we just gotta build our stuff and stop worrying about what the hell they're doing over there, because at the end of the day, like, they took steps to get there.
Yeah,
they weren't just
years.
Exactly. Like, they got consistent. They figured out a formula. They know they had to fix their farm system. They had to build that shit up. They had to get all of the riffraff out of the organization. They got some young players. Those guys, were pretty good. And then they decided, we're just gonna move on from both of them. We're gonna get rid of Bellinger. We're gonna get rid of Corey Seager. Like, they did those things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, when Met fans feel as bad as we feel right now collectively, oh, Pete's gone. Look what the fuck the Dodgers did. Like, they got rid of big time players and they revamped and they won. So that's what I had made a TikTok like a couple of days ago. I'm like, I understand that y'all mad, but we haven't won anything.
Yeah.
And if you're Met fans, you are Met fans because of what's on the front of the jersey, not who's playing on the back. And so it's like, give this new thing a shot, because at the end of the day, whatever we've been doing over the past 40 years, it hasn't worked.
Yeah, worked. I'm so you don't understand how great it feels to hear you say that.
Yeah,
because I know you wouldn't have said that like a couple months ago when we were busy losing players. I'm glad you finally seen the light a little bit.
Well, the thing is, like, it's like a breakup period, right? Like, you're gonna be mad and depressed a little bit and go through the stages of grief, but at the end of the day, you're gonna wake up the next day and feel like, okay, cool, it's time to move on. Like, it's time to be able to get back on the horse, and this is where we are. Like, here's the thing. 2023 was such a terrible year, right? That everybody who knows me knew that I said, listen, I'm going to go to the ballpark in 24 because I have no expectations. I don't know what they're going to be. They got a lot of young kids on this team. Most of the time when you mix young kids with veterans, something magical always happens. And we'll see what happens. And they started off so poor, and then it ended up being great. And then 2025 comes, and the expectations are high, and we shit the bed. Every time they pick us to be good, we shit the bed. Every time they say that we're going to suck, we always exceed expectations. So that's where I'm at with it, is that this team, and this is another thing that I want Met fans to think about, that we haven't even discussed on the show. When baseball scouts evaluate your organization, and they evaluate your farm system, they're not just evaluating your farm system based on the players that you have. That's a big part of it. But their evaluation is about how those same players in your farm system are going to be able to develop at the next level.
True.
If you have more players that they feel are major league ready that can be able to become good major league players, your ranking is going to go higher because that's the way they do it. And the Mets are probably top 1, 2, or 3 in all of baseball. So just make sure you remember that, Met fans, is that not only do we have good players in the farm system, but we also have those same players that might be able to transition very well as being major league baseball players. So that's what you have to think about, because when the Mets were bad in the early 2010s, what ended up happening? DeGrom, Syndergaard. We made the trades for Syndergaard and Wheeler. Like, we got these guys in. Matt Harvey. Like, we ushered in a brand new era of pitching and stuff. Got to the World Series, we lost, but we've always gone through this. So this is nothing new. You know what I'm saying? We had those guys. We didn't do well with them. It's time to find some new crop of guys that can be able to step into that franchise role. And we have a bunch of guys down there that have the potential to be that. That's where I'm at.
I'm lockstep. I'm right there with you, because I think even like I was saying, like I shouldn't be thinking about Mets Dodgers until October, but thinking about Mets Dodgers, even with Kyle Tucker, even with Framber Valdez, making those two moves, I don't necessarily think puts the Mets over the top to beat the Dodgers. They're great moves, and they make the Mets significantly better. We are going to have to rely on a lot of young guys to come up and play. We're going to have to rely. Carson Benz is going to have to come up and show what he can do. If we don't trade any of these pitchers, if McLean probably not getting traded, Sproat and Tong are here, they're going to have to see what they can do. I don't really know if we're going to see Jet Williams. I don't think he's really got a spot yet, but I think that's what we're kind of having to hold out hope for, is that we're going to make one of these two moves, and then we get to see, like, it doesn't have to be all on Carson Benz to come up and be the young rookie savior. Like, you give him an opportunity to play. It's kind of like what we've been talking about in the Dodgers rebuilding themselves. You know what I mean? Like you said, they built a good farm system, and then they were able to complement it with some pieces. Like, you go back and you look at some of those pieces that the Dodgers had while they were rebuilding. Not a lot of them were household names.
No,
like most of them weren't. A lot of their pitching staff was patchwork. A lot of their lineup was kind of patchwork, and then they filled in some young guys where they needed to, until they realized, okay, we're right there. We got a good core of homegrown guys, and now we can start going crazy and just spending and just getting ridiculous contracts that you never thought you would see out of these leagues.
Yeah, listen, think about it. They got lucky and caught lightning in a bottle with Muncy.
Yeah.
Like, he just kind of fell out of nowhere and just became a really good player for them. Like, you know what I mean? Turner became a great player for them. Like it's just little things that you see that an organization does. They take these risks, they take these chances, they develop their players, and then they end up being able to figure out the formula. Like, my thing is this: I don't want to be the Dodgers. I want to be the fucking Blue Jays. That's who I want to be. Because the Blue Jays, the reason why I say that is because that is a team that they have talent, and they mixed in their young talent with their veteran talent.
Yeah.
And listen, you can call it a lightning in the bottle season, but I see that more often than not when you have major league ready players that are on the cusp of getting called up. And then they get called up, and then they can be able to help you turn the corner or be able to catch that run that you need. That's all they had. They didn't have any 30 home run hitters on this team, but they had a lot of guys that had timely hits, and they knew how to situational hit, and they knew how to pitch. That's the thing. That's the thing. And we, as a Met franchise, Tom, there's so much pitching talent in this organization. I've never seen so much pitching talent with the Mets ever. Like, I look at the farm system, I'm like, bro, there's a lot of guys down there. I'm not saying that they're all Jacob deGroms, but these are guys that are really good.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And if you can be able to pluck 3 or 4 of those guys to even have a future being in your rotation, that might be better than what anybody else can be able to put out there. And
agreed.
that's all I'm saying is that, yeah, I'm starting to come around to the David Stearns method, not quite all the way, because you still need to mix in some free
Yeah,
agent talent, some acquisitions. But I want to see what these young players have. I just
totally.
do.
No, total. As we get, I don't know if it's just the, we're getting closer to the start of the season where I'm just getting amped and like just getting excited for baseball to come back.
Yeah.
But I'm not as bleak as I, otherwise would have been, going into a season like this
Yeah,
because
you know why? You know why, Tom? I tell you why. Because you've been a lifelong baseball fan like myself, and baseball, out of any other sport, is a very weird sport. Like,
yeah.
it's one of those things where you can look at a team and be like, man, I don't know if they're gonna be good this year, and then it could be a complete 180. Like, it's one of those sports where, like, chemistry and just right mix of guys having, above average years or career years that you didn't expect, guys in the bullpen actually having a great year instead of a upside down year. Like, all it takes is a strong bullpen to have that one good year that can be able to keep you in, and you're winning more games than you're losing.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
that's baseball. And that's why it's like, yeah, you can talk to the experts and you can give all these like win totals and all this other shit, but let's see what happens when these guys get on the field and find out what the hell happened, find out what works. That's all.
I am, yeah, absolutely. I can't. I honestly could not have said it better myself. I've seen teams. I don't think anybody expected the 2015 Mets to end up in a World Series. I don't think nobody expected the 2024 Mets to get
No.
to where they did. You do. The Mets are a lot of catching lightning in a bottle. But the thing is where you said that you want to be more like the Blue Jays than the Dodgers. The only reason I say I would rather be the Dodgers is because the Dodgers are right now the model of
Sustainability. Yeah.
excuse me, they're the team that you look at and it's like, okay, they're definitely going to be good year in and year out.
Yeah.
I am very happy with what the Blue Jays did, and I'm really happy because I want to see the AL East be more competitive. I want
Yeah.
to see the Yankees have a hard time. I want to see the Red Sox have a hard time. I just like the Blue Jays. I want to see them do good. I just am not convinced that that's going to happen because I've seen that the Blue Jays can also be a really Jekyll and Hyde team.
Very
But
volatile. Yeah.
what I know out of the Dodgers is if they do even remotely look like they're being Jekyll and Hyde, they're going to do something to remedy that. They're going to make some crazy move that's going to reset their situation and make them better going forward. I want the Mets to be in that position, and it kind of feels like they are. They're building a decent core of a team right now. They've got more pitching and even more position players than they know what to do with at this point. They have the tools to go make those minor moves, so that way, if you're bringing Cody Bellinger or Kyle Tucker, I think one of them is coming. I think one of them is coming because the Mets realize that they need, like, another thing that we keep hearing a day after day is the Mets understand that they need to. They're not idiots. They understand that they need to do something to improve the team right now. They get it. They're not just saying we're just going to roll with our young guys and see what happens. They understand that they have improvements to make. So I think they can bring in Kyle Tucker, bring in Framber, or trade for Peralta, and then when they have to, they'll make a move at the deadline with all of these prospects that they have, and we'll be able to round out a team that can compete because that's all you have to do. You just have to get in.
Yeah.
You just got to get in, get hot, and hopefully you can catch somebody. Sleeping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Dodgers can slip up. The Dodgers, they did win the World Series last year. Almost looked like it was going to be a series with San Diego. They could have lost it to Toronto. They didn't, but you just need them to slip up once.
Yeah, listen,
you need to catch one of their starters one time.
Baseball is that humbling sport, man. Like, I don't believe in a great team on paper in baseball. There's too many factors.
We had one last year.
Exactly, in a whole season, guys get hurt. Your entire rotation can be decimated. Like things change, and you have to be lucky a little bit in baseball to be able to get to the end. You know what I mean? And we saw that with the Blue Jays that they were a little iffy to start, but then they got consistent, got a little lucky. Like, think about it. They got nothing out of Santander last year. Nothing.
Yeah.
And then you're getting him back this year, and I'm sure he's going to have a bounce back year just because, that a guy like that, he's not going to be terrible 2 years in a row. I just don't believe that. He's a good player. He's not great, but he's a good player.
All the time is undefeated, though.
Yeah.
Unless you're Francisco Lindor, not on.
Very you know what I mean? But it's just, but I agree with you. The sustainability is what I want. I think I was just saying that I want to be the Blue Jays in the sense of, like, the way they're structured is like we're like that. You know what I mean? So, like, if they can do that, so can we. You know what I mean? And but I'd rather the sustainability of the Dodgers. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and just play this out. Play out the string. Mets don't make any significant moves, Tom. Mm-hmm. They go into spring training, and this is what they have. Their rotation will be Senga, McLean. We have David Peterson. We have Sean Manaea. And then if you want to go ahead and put in a Brandon Sproat.
I'm going Sproat over
Tong. Yeah. I think, no, Tong has to stay in the minors. He's not ready yet. So if Sproat is the guy, or is it if it's Christian Scott that gets the nod, whoever it is, like, is there whether it's pitching, whether it's position of players, is there anybody that you can see that can be able to have like that renaissance, that comeback season, and say, you know what, he has a chance to do that?
I had somebody when we were talking about this off air. I had somebody. My mind is trying to talk me into Kodai Senga simply because Senga's been. That's not my pick, but Senga is. I'm only thinking about him because all he's been hearing this whole offseason, even into last year, is he can't stay healthy and he can't be consistent. Like, as good as he has been when he pitches, he hasn't been that guy that we wanted from Japan.
Yes.
So, and they're going to need him. I mean, the Mets are going to need pitching. Even if they sign Framber Valdez or Ranger Suarez, the Mets are going to need Senga to be Senga.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not getting him high. But my comeback guy is Francisco Alvarez.
Okay.
He had a rough year last year because they were trying to change his swing a little bit, and
as well as breaking the hamate bone in his hand again.
This is his fourth or fifth year?
We came up in 2022.
Oh, okay. So it's going into his fourth year.
Yeah.
So we're starting to get to that point where we have to really figure out who Francisco Alvarez is.
Right.
Like it's kind of like that. It's kind of like, remember when we had Travis d'Arnaud and we traded for Travis? He was the centerpiece of the Noah Syndergaard trade.
Yeah.
We thought we had our catcher for the future, and he got some good hits. I loved him in 2015, but he never became that star that we really needed him to be.
Until he went to the Braves?
Until he went to the Braves. Until he went to the Braves. Almost feels like that year for Francisco Alvarez. Like we've seen the pop. He can hit some home runs. Yeah. He's good. He's a good catcher behind the plate. I want to see him put it all together this year, and I think he can if he gets back to that swing that we saw towards the end of last year. That I feel like is my guy, like, especially if they don't make any moves. Yeah. Francisco Alvarez is going to have to be one of those guys where that pop in the lineup is coming. I don't trust Mark Vientos. I'm sorry, I don't.
I don't either. I want to send him to Mars. I really do. Like, just the same way that they sent what was my man Jeff McNeil. Send him on the same plane. Send him on the same plane.
What if it ends up being Vientos has to go to Milwaukee to bring Rhys Hoskins here? How funny would that be?
Oh my goodness!
That was around the same time, if you remember, in 2024. That was around the same series where we got Vientos liking something about the Brewers when they came into Citi Field and smacked the crap out of him because he wound up in AAA and didn't make the club. They trade him to the Brewers. Rhys Hoskins and Peralta come here.
I would love that.
But yeah, it's Alvarez. Who's yours?
Mine is it's out there. It's really, really out there. It's Ronnie Mauricio. I I think Ronnie, given the opportunity, because he does have some versatility in him. He can play, so he can play third. He can spot start a second if you want him to. But this is a guy that I know he has an option year left, but I do think out of anybody that sticks around, I don't think that Acuna, I don't think that Stearns loves Acuna. I think that Acuna,
You know, he traded for him.
yeah, but it wasn't him though. It was Epler.
That wasn't David Stearns.
That was Epler.
No, that was Epler.
Yeah,
That
that was
was
Epler.
Epler.
Yeah, so like I think that if he can get rid of Acuna, he will. But Mauricio to me, and then the name that I mentioned prior, Christian Scott. Christian Scott was our number one pitching prospect before he got hurt. You gotta remember that. Number one, right? Him coming back, whether it's in the bullpen or whether he can be a fringe starter, fifth or sixth guy. Like that's a guy that not a lot of Met fans are talking about, but I am circling, because if he can be able to come in here and make an impact, now we're talking about, okay, this is something that we didn't expect, and this is going to be a benefit and a plus going forward because the talent level is there. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I love your Alvarez pick because I agree as well. If he can be able to find a way to protect his hands and be able to be quicker inside and have that power come back and that confidence come back, then now you're talking about another guy that can be able to be a perennial power bat, consistent bat in your lineup. What if you gotta remember his rookie season, didn't he hit 25 home runs as a rookie?
Just about. I can look that up right now.
So we have some comments in here. Said, I don't know what your name is. Well, one and done and well, 25 and 95 RBIs, but not protection for Soto. Yeah, I can see. I think he's talking about Alvarez.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Like that's the thing. I understand that Alvarez, like he's been hurt a lot, and he hasn't been that impact bat that we heard he was going to be when he was coming up from AAA. But I think it's because he spent so much time being injured. Like he was hurt a lot last year. He got hurt a lot the year before.
But here's the thing too. Here's the thing that I love about Alvarez, right? Is that he's still the youngest catcher in baseball.
He's a child. Yeah, he is an infant.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and he has all of this major league experience, and he's still the youngest.
And I like that he's a good catcher. Like I like that he can call a good game.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it would be really interesting to see his personality with Framber, because Framber Valdez is a very like volatile personality, and so is Alvarez. Like Alvarez isn't going to take Valdez, however much of a veteran he is. He's not going to take.
Nah, you ain't got to worry about that. You ain't got to worry about that. El Troll is gonna handle his ass.
Exactly.
Right? So I think he's due for a breakout because we've been waiting for this for years, and every year he breaks that bone in his hand and gets set back, and his that power gets sapped. It takes so much to be able to try to rehab from that. And if you don't have your hands, you're not going to have that power. No. So if he can be able to figure out how to protect those hands, he's going to be able to have that power. And 25 plus home runs from a catcher is money.
Yeah.
It's money. You know what I mean?
I do think I was also thinking of Beatty, but because of Mauricio, I don't know how long of a leash Beatty's going to have. We are hearing from we did hear that Beatty's going to get predominantly the reps at third base, which I'm fine with because Beatty can play a good third base. But, they're playing Ron in winter ball. Ronnie's playing a lot of third. I don't think Ronnie's a big dude, so I don't know if they want to try to move him over to first base. But
listen, I think if anybody can be able to make the transition, I think he can.
Yeah. Well, he's a big dude. Like, just really
he's a big guy, man.
Figure out how to handle the glove and just get the balls that are going to go over your head. You know what I mean? I just got to be able to hit. I just think
that he's just right. That's the thing is that every winter league he looks like Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
And then come but again, like they literally wasted a full year of him last year, and for him not to get any at bats was just unfair to the kid.
Yeah.
coming off a major injury, not getting the proper at bats, it sets somebody back. So
Yeah.
hopefully he can be able to rebound and get that confidence back, because that kid, man, if he can be able to give you anywhere between 20-25 home runs in a substitute role, or a guy that's pseudo playing every day, dude, like this is why baseball is great, because somebody is going to step up that we're not expecting.
Yep.
And that's what makes it beautiful. And we got a comment here. Tony HVAC too. The new hitting coach is the one who made him hit good. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it was JP Arancibia that told him, bro, just go back to your regular swing.
Yep.
Alvarez, I don't know what the fuck they were telling you to do up there, but you were mashing down here, so just do that. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
If
I don't
there's
know why.
nothing wrong with it, yes, your swing is a little long, but you're not a big guy. So if you can be quick through the zone, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Truth, absolutely. I don't know why. Like that's just again, I'm not a baseball coach, so I don't know. I understand that you have to tweak things in people's swing sometimes when you got to get them right. But like, I don't know why you touch a guy that knows how to hit and can hit. I don't know why you touch his swing.
Yeah.
Alvarez was mashing in the minors. He came up here, was mashing a little bit, got hurt, and then just looked like a completely different catcher once Eric Chavez got here.
Yeah.
And, I want to see him, and maybe a little bit of pressure, knowing that, the reinforcements or the core that you had is you don't have that to fall back on. You don't got Pete to fall back on. You don't got Nimmo to fall back on. You don't got any of these guys to fall back on. You're going to have to come up and step up. I'm hoping that that's enough to push Alvarez over the edge and maybe protect himself a little bit better so he doesn't get hurt and we see him for a while, And Alvarez seems like the kind of guy that's like that. He's a very fiery, rah-rah kind of guy, and I love that. I love that.
He wants to be good.
And I think he has every opportunity to. Christian Scott is an interesting one. I always forget about him.
Yeah.
Because you're right. He was our number one pitching prospect. I think at this point, Nolan McLean's going to lap him by a million miles.
Yeah.
But I think my only issue with him is I feel like he has to almost be a bullpen arm at this point.
Yeah.
Like the rotation is so clogged with people right now. And especially if they're going to bring in another like bulldog of a starter. It's just moving him one more ring down the line. And plus, he's coming off of that bad Tommy John surgery. So
it's beneficial for him to start off in the bullpen. Yeah.
Sit in the pen, see if we can maybe get you into some high leverage situations.
Yep.
I mean, Adam Wainwright was a bullpen pitcher for a little while. So
that's how he started.
John Smoltz was a closer, I believe, at one point in time. So,
yeah.
Give him a shot there, see what happens. You can never have too much pitching. And, honestly, the more and more we get closer to spring training, I know a pitcher's coming. But I still just get excited, like thinking, like, oh wow, you know what? I might actually be okay seeing what Nolan McLean has as an ace, seeing what Brandon Sproat has as a 2 or 3, seeing if David Peterson maybe can fix what's wrong with him a little bit and figure out how to complete a season. Maybe you can't go 7 all of these times. Can you go 6? I'd like you to go to 7, but can you go 6?
Yeah.
Can Kodai Senga really put it together now that we got a guy that can, hopefully make a throw to first base when he's covering, hopefully.
Right.
Cross my fingers, Polanco. If you can do anything, just do that.
And my biggest thing was saying it too. Can we get you to pitch every 5th day instead of every 6th day?
I wonder.
That'd be nice.
The thing is, I think the Mets have so many pitchers, and they don't want to worry. They got a lot of pitchers, and they got a lot of young pitchers.
Yeah.
I wonder if they want to be like, use as an excuse, like, all right, we still got a lot of young guys, and we're trying to figure out how they do. We do have a surplus of pitching, like starters, maybe not aces. We got a surplus of starters. Maybe we'll just do the 6-man rotation and, just give everybody enough time to rest up.
Yeah.
I mean, pitching's in Major League Baseball. It's we're a few years away from bullpen games every day. So
yeah. Yeah, listen, man, I am like you, man. The closer we get to spring training, I'm just like, fuck it. Like let's go. Let's see who's
positive on Kyle Tucker though. Like I really think I'm starting to get to the point where I feel like the Kyle Tucker news is dropping any day now. And
listen, there's nothing better, and I think we talked about this before, Tom. You get that 3 a.m. Breaking news while you're sleeping, and you wake up and your phone. What?
My dream scenario, my dream phone alert this season is next week. I wake up to an alert. John Harbaugh, Giants head coach, Kyle Tucker, Mets left fielder. I don't know what I would do with myself.
Listen, if the Giants don't sign Harbaugh, just pack it up.
Dude,
Just pack it up.
it is so happening. Like, look, I know where this is talking about Mets, but I just have to say it. I saw Adam Schefter said that John Harbaugh. We heard initially. I read earlier today that John Harbaugh was coming in tomorrow to interview for the Giant job. I just saw that Adam Schefter said that he's not talking to anybody until next week. Now that could mean one of two things. That could mean either
he's not leaving the building.
No, he's not leaving the building. It could mean either he's waiting to see what happens in Philly and Buffalo, or he's letting the Giants interview everybody that they got to interview so they can just have the interview and he doesn't leave the building next week. Those are my two. One's a doomsday scenario. One is, probably the greatest Giants news I've gotten since the Giants Super Bowl, maybe.
Well, listen, as a Jets fan, we could kick Aaron Glenn to the curb, but we're not going to do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, they're not. They're not gonna.
But hey,
there's always look. Here's the thing: Jets are bad next year. They get another they get either one or two next year. Aaron Glenn is definitely getting fired if it was anything like it did this year. You get a new coach and Arch Manning.
Right, because the thing is, if you don't go quarterback this year, you still got your 3 picks next year as well in a more loaded quarterback draft. So
I don't. This is the thing. I don't watch a lot of college football. Those loaded and not loaded quarterback drafts. Whenever I hear that, it just pisses me off because it's like you guys don't know anything. You don't know anything. Well, wasn't a big quarterback.
They're just going off of
the win Rookie of the Year.
You're right.
And Jackson Dart looks good. And Shador Sanders we're going to figure out next year probably.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's a overblown, overused word, like a low. But when you got Arch Manning, you got some other guys out there. Like you can only go with where the talent goes, and I think that there is more quarterback talent in 2027. That's all it is. It's like maybe if they end up being bust or not working out, it is what. But there's more arm talent in next year's draft. I can tell you that.
Jets best case scenario if they don't take who's the Oregon quarterback?
Oh, you talking about Moore?
Yeah, if they don't take him, their best option is to just load up on whatever defensive players they can at the top of the draft, trade down, and then just grab a young quarterback in the second or third round.
Trade down. Go get
see if he can play.
Go get what's that kid name? Trinidad Chambly or whatever his name is in the second round. You get him in the second, third round and figure it out. I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
And then if it doesn't work out, okay, you just flubbed a second or third round pick. The kid at least played, so you got to figure it out. And then if you're bad next year, you get who's ever coming out next year. You know what I mean? And then you might be able to just. The only downside to it is, I know we'll get back to the Mets, but the only downside to it is this feels like the coach year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's McCarthy's there, Stefanski's there, Harbaugh's there.
Pete Carroll.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't.
I like Pete Carroll.
I wouldn't. I like Pete Carroll, but I mean, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole at this point. For the Jets, you see what he just did in Vegas?
Listen, Vegas is terrible. All right.
Speaking of Vegas, just circling back to baseball real quick. Did you see that the Athletics got denied on their trademark for Vegas?
Did they?
They did.
I don't think it's going to happen.
They don't have a stadium. They don't have a place to build the stadium yet. They were going to build it at the Tropicana, and nobody's approved anything yet.
What a disaster.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago where they had that ceremonial golden shovels in the dirt, and it wasn't even at the site. It's bad. You're just going to be stuck in Sacramento for the next.
That is embarrassing. I mean, look, Sacramento's a nice town, but they don't want no baseball.
They're in a minor league stadium.
They don't want no baseball, man. They don't want no baseball.
They're in a minor league stadium. What are we doing?
It's bad. It's bad.
You see that, Mets fans, if you're still watching, which I know you are, I can see you in the chat.
Yeah.
It might be bad for us, but thank God
at least we're not
the Athletics.
Facts.
Or the Rockies.
As much as we as Met fans as a collective, we shit on our team, man. There's worse franchises than us. Yeah. And that's all I'm saying.
You can start to get excited, man. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that the Braves are just going to bounce back after last year.
Fuck the Braves.
The Marlins might be good. We don't know. the Phillies are the Phillies, but the Phillies didn't really even break down. They're the same team that they were last year. And
Yeah.
I watched all those Philly post games, and they were
Right.
losing their minds. It was so much fun. And then the Nationals are the Nationals,
Yeah.
So I still think that this division is there for the taking. I still think, even coming off of an embarrassing year last year, the Mets are still in a position that they could absolutely contend for a playoff spot, and then all you got to do is make it. I still think at at the trade deadline this year, the Mets won't be breaking down, and we won't be in middle ground being like, are we good enough to maybe contend, or are we too bad? Are we too good to sell but not good enough to buy? The Mets are going to be buyers at the deadline.
And I think for some reason, I think David Stearns is going to be a lot more aggressive when it comes to the trade market during the season, even leading up to the trade deadline. You'll start to see him maybe make some early trades if he sees that there's a need here or there. You know what I'm saying? Like I can see that happening. Hold on, we got another question here. It said, if you think this is the final product, you're crazy. Stearns won't sign a player with a QO till after the 15th. Yeah, I mean, listen, we're not saying that this is the final product, Tony. We're just playing out the string just in case that if it is this, then we're going to bat with it. We can't do nothing.
But I agree. I agree with him. All we've heard from the Mets is that they know that they need to add, that this isn't it. We hear from all the insiders that the Mets are going to add somebody.
Yeah.
And there aren't that many somebodies left.
Right.
There's only a few somebodies left. It's Kyle Tucker, Cody Bellinger, Framber, Ranger. That's pretty much the impact that you're getting. Yeah. Unless you're making a trade offer. But if we're talking about adding from free agency, those are your four guys. Somebody's coming. Somebody, one or two of those guys are coming this way.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the market has played into David Stearns' hands, and now he can be able to say, all right, now I'm ready to strike. Now I'm ready to pounce.
If I will understand, maybe not even big, because we're already acknowledging that the Mets are probably going to add. If the Mets add Kyle Tucker and Framber Valdez, if the Mets add Cody Bellinger and Framber Valdez, because I think it's going to be Framber, do you concede that Stearns is a good negotiator because he played the market to an like a master? Didn't go and overreact to the Pete and the Nimmo and the Diaz backlash. He waited in the weeds until the right deal at the right time came.
I mean, here's the thing, right? When something happens that works out in your favor, you look like a genius. But when it doesn't, then it leaves a lot to be desired, and it leaves you to be scrutinized, right? That's the thing, is like, okay, yes, the market has played out in a weak free agent year, right? I want to see what David Stearns looks like in a strong free agent class, because you have to be a lot more super aggressive in a strong free agent class. When there's a very mild to weak free agent class, yeah, you can be able to kind of sit back and let the market dictate where it is, because there's not a lot of desirable picks out there. So that's why I can say that, okay, yeah, you can do it this year, but what happens when another year, when it's loaded? You can't make these mistakes.
But I don't even know if does baseball really. I'm trying to remember. Like, I think the last like loaded off season that we had was what, Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. Loaded off.
Yeah, guys that were young and yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I don't think we get a lot of those because of the nature of baseball, where like guys hang on to teams for as long as they do. So
yeah, but I'm talking about what Tony's talking about right now, right? He said next year we have 3 certified aces on the market. So those 3 certified aces being on the market, that is going to make me see who David Stearns is, because you can't fuck around if you want the tops of the tops. Like, you know what I mean? You gotta go aggressive, balls to the wall, and see who you can be able to sign.
Well, I'm looking, unless I might be reading this page wrong, but I'm looking at the 2027 free agent pitchers specifically. Yeah. The only one that's really getting me excited is Tariq Skubal, because
Skubal, you got Peralta's a free agent, Alcantara is a free agent.
Well, yeah, they're not on. I don't know why they're not on here, or they're just way far down. Yeah, they're way further down the list. Oh
Yeah.
wait, no. Does he have a club option for that year, or does he
Oh,
have?
Alcantara?
Yeah,
He might.
he might have a because it says club option right
Yeah,
here.
he
But again,
might.
I could be looking at this wrong. But it looks like the top is Corbin Burns, Michael King. Well, no, Michael King just signed, so no, he's not going to be a free agent. Yeah, I think you're wrong, Sports Track. But again, I don't like outside of Tariq Skubal, maybe Sandy Alcantara.
Yeah.
There's nobody that's like really exciting me in the starting pitching market outside of those two, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
As far as a
Bronco,
frontline starter,
Alcantara, Skubal.
as far as my ace of the staff,
Yeah. Scooble. Yeah.
and they're gonna. I have
But that's
no
what I'm
doubt in
saying.
my mind.
I want to see how he operates with Scooble next off season. Like you can't be like, oh, we're gonna sit back and let the market dictate. No. You better go after that motherfucker and you better sign him. Like that, like damn that.
I think if they were, I think the thing that no, I love Peralta, Tony. By the way, I want them to trade. I want them to trade for Peralta. Like I don't even want to let that get. I want him. I want to get him now. Get him now because the rotation needs it. But the thing is, if I would have been, I almost might have been more afraid that they weren't going to sign, that they weren't going to back up the truck for Skubal if they traded for him.
Right.
Because if they traded for him, like okay, you gave up the pieces to bring him in here. Are you just trying to go for this year and then you're going to give him a fair market deal going to the offseason? The fact that they're not even trading for him makes me think, okay, we know that Scott Boras is making him test free agency. He ain't signing an extension anywhere.
Yeah.
So that makes me like, okay, look, if we can't trade for him right now because the Tigers are asking for too much, okay, we're just going to back up the Brinks truck for him and give him everything he wants in the offseason. That's the way I'm kind of looking at it because the Mets have shown you that they're going to, if the guy is there, and he is going to command that money because the Mets aren't going to be the only team to offer Skubal that money. It'll be the Yankees, probably, maybe.
Yankees,
it'll be the Dodgers,
Red Sox.
I don't know about the Blue Jays, probably not. But now, do you think the Red Sox, because they just got Crochet?
I think the Red Sox will go in because the Red Sox didn't do much spending this offseason. They will go get Skubal.
So I think when you get to a guy like Tariq Skubal, I think the Mets will look at it and be like, okay, it's like the Soto situation. This guy is the best at his position, getting to free agency at the right time. It's time to back up the truck for him.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna unload all of my prized prospects when I could use it to maybe either fill in some holes here or use it to get some other players that we might need when I could just pay for them next year,
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree.
Yanks, Mets, Red Sox, Dodgers, Toronto. Again, and even out of those, I'm just afraid of the Dodgers.
Yeah,
I believe the Yankees are going to offer him the money that he wants.
I think it's maybe a guaranteed 2-horse, 3-horse race. I am not confident that the Yankees are going to go after him aggressively. I think they will offer him, but that AV and the length of the years and what he wants is going to probably scare them off in the end.
Oh, totally, because they're going to still have Cole on the
team.
And honestly, I think Tony, again, I agree. I would be more afraid of Toronto if I fully believe Toronto is going to be who we saw last year. Like, I think if it ends up being more lightning in a bottle and the Blue Jays aren't contenders like they were last year, they might have a hard time getting people to take their money. You know what I mean? I think that might end up being an issue.
Yeah.
And I think Tariq Skubal is just going to look at it like, okay, Steve Cohen and the Mets are maybe there's still more suites at Citi Field. He can have one for his family. You know what I mean? Give him a suite. Who cares?
Give him a suite. Who cares?
Soto got it.
Yeah, listen, then not many are Juan Soto. So, not everybody.
Tariq Skubal might be. As a pitcher, he might be. He's like Tariq Skubal takes the mound. It feels like a DeGrom day. Hopefully that's Nolan McLean.
I'm not gonna poo-poo him. He's great. It's just I don't know, man. Pitchers are iffy for me. When you go ahead and you give pitchers a certain amount of money, man, I'm just like, oh.
No, dude. I don't like paying pitchers that much money and giving them that kind of length because more often than not they're going to end up hurt. But I mean, look, the only way that I would see myself being like, don't pay that money for Skubal and put it somewhere else is if McLean comes up and is nails. Like if he comes up and is the guy And
I think he's gonna be the guy, Tom.
if that I will. I want to go to a McLean. I want to go to McLean starts and feel like I'm going to watch Jake back in the day. Like
He
hit those wiffle balls.
I don't think he reminds me more of Matt Harvey when Matt Harvey was on. Like when Matt Harvey was him, that motherfucker was the best. He was the guy. You know what I'm saying?
He's got the mentality of Harvey. Like he's out there, he just wants to beat the crap out of you.
Bulldog. Like, he just wants to destroy you.
He is a football player on a pitcher's mound.
Yeah, that's those are guys that I love, man. You know what I'm saying? So
and his pitches are just it's like if you're a pitching geek, like watching the break and the movement on his pitches are ridiculous. Just insane.
Yeah,
insane. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see him. I love it. Maybe that's it also. Like maybe I'm getting psyched up about the pitching staff a little bit because it's bringing me back to the DeGrom, Harvey, Syndergaard, Matz thing because we're going to have Tong maybe later in the year, Sproat, Christian Scott, and Nolan McLean's like, oh, we got the young horses are back.
Yep.
We got the young pitching staff that's going to help us, catch some lightning in a bottle.
Absolutely. So, final thoughts, Tom. You said that we get Framer Valdez, we get Kyle Tucker. That's your prediction?
That is what I think is going to happen. I wouldn't be shocked if it winds up being Framber and Cody Bellinger, but I'm really starting to believe Kyle Tucker might end up being the move, and that would make me. I would be thrilled. Imagine Again, you shouldn't think like this. I just can't help it. Juan Soto left from the Yankees last year, and all we heard going into last season was Kyle Tucker is automatically a Yankee.
Right.
We got a chance to take Juan Soto last year and get Kyle Tucker this year. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Literal, just like David Stearns, you painted a masterpiece. Now let's go fill in a couple of holes with a couple of rookies and let's go play ball.
Absolutely.
I do like the Ronnie Mauricio pick. Ronnie Mauricio pick is awesome.
That's my guy, man. I am a big Ronnie fan. We have a subscriber here with Tony. Respect, man. He said, guys, Tony, glad you came over on my lives. I'll subscribe to your channel. Thank you so much. We're gonna be doing these, often. We do them a lot. And we're also going to be launching our Mets pod very, very soon. Once spring training gets, we will be.
I can't wait to get going to games.
Yeah, we'll be going to games. We'll be, doing some stuff at the
games. That Amazing Mets Pass, everybody. We're not affiliated with the Mets in any way, but it's literally the best way to go to a Mets game. I'm not even kidding you.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. So, there's a lot of stuff coming up, man. I don't know. Maybe the pod will just live on this channel. I don't know what we'll do. It doesn't really matter to me. I mean,
while we're doing it.
Yeah, it's already, we already have it here. We've been having these live, so we might as well just let it live here. And it'll be the home to the Mets pod and the All Even podcast. But until the next time we get on here, Tom, until we can be able to talk some rumors, whatever it is, signings, trades, we'll be back. We'll be back to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll keep sending you things through text with my frustration when things don't work our way.
Your frustration has been your frustration has been very tempered recently.
2026, man. All right. I'm trying to learn how to be calm and cool. You know what I'm saying?
It'll all work out. It'll all work out.
All right, man. Well, listen, till next time, we'll see y'all, man.